Hello, you lovely people. Hi, you kindly folk. It's been a while since we last met, our adventures left unwoke. We've got our maps and dice in hand and tales that still provoke. Together we will journey on, our laughter will evoke. Throughout the magic realms we'll go as friendship grows and grows. So hello, you lovely people, and hi, you kindly folk.
Welcome back, listeners, to the Kindly Folk Chronicles. With their place now secured in the Allegiance of Allsight, the Banded Broken stand at the threshold of new opportunities and new dangers. I am your host and Dungeon Master Kyle, but first a recap of the previous session brought to us by Ortega.
Discouraging is a friend still under the thumb of the one who stole from him. Discouraging is a friend who's unsure of her place and of herself. It's a long-lost flame grieving and not knowing what dark places I can take you. Discouraging is looking in the eyes of those who are deemed friends and seeing pain, anger, sadness, jealousy, and confusion. Discouraging is not knowing what you can do to aid them or if they'd even accept it. Along the way, I had a reunion with a very old friend. He's still stuck under the thumb of one Shaman's Paul. After that, we were contracted by the Allegiance of Allsight to go and locate a secret entrance to Cal Moro. While there, we were ambushed by invisible stalkers. It was like they were guarding something. If only I knew what they were guarding, unless there actually was an entrance there. After recapping with the Allegiance of Allsight, we decided to become full-fledged members. And I think we're going to go after Shaman's Paul, but is that the right thing to do? If it's what Art wants, I wouldn't mind chopping off a head.
With Ankarel still bearing the scars of a recent attack, something about it feels deliberate, calculated. As questions arise, suspicions grow. Could this be more than just another assault on the Allegiance of Allsight? Could Ari's instincts be right? The nights become uneasy, and the road ahead is unclear. But one thing is certain, the Banded Broken are in deeper than ever before. We are at a point in the campaign where you guys are now members of the Allegiance of Allsight.
Yeah.
You have been told by Elekritos that you have to stay safe and to be vigilant and to be aware of anything else that might have gone on, especially in the consortium of the Vumalian Dream and the Sentinels of Memory.
Now, you mentioned... Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
Technically, anything that we're probably going to be doing in this session will take place over the course of a couple of weeks.
Okay, good to know.
If there's things that we want to do, role play, stuff like that, like this is a long time has passed. It's not just the next day. It's not the day after that. Like weeks are passing with you guys staying low and trying to gather some information. So keep that in mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually done a session like this. I've seen these before, or at least I feel like I haven't in a really long time. Of like, what do you do over this giant chunk of time? I love it.
Yep, there's a giant chunk of time.
Okay, as far as Ari's concerned, there's a few key things. You had mentioned that one of these groups sounded familiar, like I knew he was attached to Shaman's Paul, but I don't remember which one of the two groups that association was linked with.
That was the Sentinels of Memory.
The Sentinels of Memory are the ones linked with Shaman's Paul. Okay, now, could you, like, I just know that they're linked. Do I know much more about that, or is that something that I need to spend some time finding out?
That would definitely be something you can spend some time finding out.
Well, you see, I've got this pretty fantastic loot here. I don't exactly remember how I got it, but I do know that it's glorious. I can hang around a number of different places. I can play here and there, and I can keep my ear to the ground, and I can put on a disguise, I'm pretty sure. Good at that stuff. Oh yeah, I've got stuff. So I feel like I could pretty easily... Yeah, I've got Disguise Self, so I can go and play all sorts of different places and sort of keep my ear to the ground, keep an eye, or at least use that to follow any leads that we might have where it would make sense to get some coverage from the floor. That's one way that we can sort of like start gathering overall intel, or it's at least a way we can action some intel should we get it. Anyone else have like a way that they kind of want to like approach this tactically, strategically? Because I know that at least, so we've got two possible groups. We've got one that I know there's links to, and I want to kill Shaman's Paul, and I feel like that's almost a universally shared idea, except for suddenly peaceful Ortega, who we'll see what happens. He also still wants to chop off heads, so I think we can find a middle ground where he kills people and chops off heads. But any other plans, Ortega, that you would want to try and approach this with?
So Ortega doesn't know whole lot unless you divulge it, but Ortega believes that there actually is an entrance to Kale Moro where we going back to your original discussion with Shaman's Paul, they were actively guarding him and keeping people out. So I don't think that the stalkers were there intentionally for us specifically. That's me as a player. Ortega doesn't know the rest of it because he doesn't know about your conversation with Shaman's Paul, things like that. So as a player, I just
I would fill you in on all that stuff. You could consider yourself educated over, like, in the course of whatever, like, first day, you're caught up.
Yeah. So,
sorry, Lily, what were you saying?
I was going to say, if I could jump in as a player, I thought that so I have notes from our first conversation with Shaman's Paul. Okay. So I thought that the Sentinels of Memory were still looking for Kale Moro. So I have that they're looking for the drowned city, that they consider it some kind of prison. And their goal is to keep it sealed as opposed to the Cobalt Soul, and that they are somewhat aligned with the consortium of the Vermilion Dream, whose goal is also to keep it sealed. That's all I have on kind of the motivation of the Sentinels of Memory.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. That's awesome.
I still believe that the stalkers were there to keep people away from the entrance, as opposed to being there to specifically attack the player, which is how the party took it last session.
But the one thing that we do know is that they didn't attack Carlisle, which might have been just a convenience thing, but that could also be they were targeting us specifically. So
I am notably curious if they didn't attack Carlisle.
Which maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Yeah. Okay.
We never insight checked him at all. So,
no, we didn't.
Do we really know whether he actually lost the thing that controls all the water? Did he just?
We insight checked him before, and he had been trustworthy, earlier on in the session. I don't know if that would still apply or not. So,
I thought we had something about seeing if he was lying about the
shard.
Yeah, and because he was kind of acting a little bit cagey about it, so we were like, "What's up?" And he was like, "No, I actually need that thing."
Right.
So
now he might need that thing, but he still could. He could be, I'm less inclined to think that now.
Yeah.
But I do think that the people that could put the stalkers there are the ones that have the crystal that courts and evidence.
So if they're hunting for the entrance, or if they've, hope to God, not found it, I feel like there's 3 investigative paths that we can take, and potentially simultaneously. Maybe we need to do them all over this time. I'm not sure. We can look up the I need to write down these names. Could you just drop the names of the organizations in the chat, please? I'm actively trying to plot out an idea here, and I'm losing track of the fine point details, because that's not a talent of mine. The Vermilion.
The Vermilion Dream.
Vermilion Dream.
Vermilion Dream. Like the Pokemon town or the color.
Okay.
The Pokemon town or the color.
I was gonna say the World of Warcraft thing, but so there's the.
I'm not aware of any of those things very well. So I'm not
Allegiance of Allsight.
Allegiance of Allsight.
Yeah,
that's us.
That's you. Yeah. There's the Sentinels of Memory. Then there's the Cobalt Soul.
Yeah. No, those ones I'm familiar with.
Okay.
And the Hand of Ord.
The Hand of Ord, which are basically the police.
The fucking cops, dude.
Yep.
That's what I write down. Every time I write them down, I say the fucking cops hate the Hand of Ord. Yeah, exactly.
Are you a co-op? I'm not a co-op. Are you a co-op? Oh, I love that movie. Okay, so we know that the Vermilion Dream is involved and supports the Sentinels of Memory. They suck.
And they sent Alicia to come fuck up all our shit. So we're
right.
Anti-consortium.
Alicia. Spelling is going to be all wrong, guys. Sorry about that.
I make up different spellings every time I write things down. It's really fun.
VD means Vermilion Dream, not So we can try to track down Alicia. There's one person at least we know to look for. We can look for and keep an eye out for things related to the Sentinels of Memory. We can also try and find the door ourselves. And that's sort of our third interrogative path, is actually like trying to find this sunken prison concept, like this secret entrance. So there's, there could be things to learn in the Cobalt Soul would have a ton of information about this stuff. We have anybody here who's high intelligence? Anyone here? Bueller?
I actually don't think anybody has extremely high.
We dumb and pretty.
I'm decent. Mine's 17 with a +3 modifier.
That's not bad.
You have a +3 to intelligence?
Yeah.
Why don't you help us more? We're dumb and pretty. It's
I have enough.
our smartest person is also like, it's probably fine. So I mean,
It is
you
fine.
would have the best chance of going to the Cobalt Soul and finding something. What with all your book learning and reading literacy, fancy pants skills.
Listen, it's not book smarts. It's definitely street smarts. But
But it's
I
reading.
can, smart and pretty.
Oh, goodness, unfair. So we could do a trip to the Cobalt Soul and look and see what we can find for ourselves. That gives us a leg up potentially on a whole bunch of different things. Outside of that, I think it's keeping an eye out for Alicia or asking around and trying to find that. Looking around for things with Shaman's Paul organization and like seeing if we can either put a stop to some of that or use that to trace out some more information. So those are sort of the main interrogative paths that I see. Anyone? I don't think Nal heard any of it. All right. So anyone have any?
So yeah, I was just going to jump in again with my notes and say, so that I don't think we've seen Alicia since the incident.
Since she killed Maggie. Yeah. No.
And and then when right after that, right before we came to Ank'Harel, we were like, ooh, do we go to the Cobalt Soul or do we go to the Allegiance of Allsight? And we ended up going to the Allegiance of Allsight because we were like, fuck books or whatever. Again, in line with our party values, clearly.
Our official values document, dumb but pretty.
Yeah, so I don't think we've had any interactions with the Cobalt Soul other than with Question, who is part of the Cobalt Soul. So we've got that as an in if we need it, I guess.
Lady
And we
Tatiana.
love Question.
We love Question. I don't know when the last time we talked to him was.
Gross.
Maybe-
Right when
So-
you guys got to Ank'Harel, Question
Right.
Question gave you directions to Old Man Crooks and
Right. Yes.
Hey,
I mean, Lady Tatiana's charming. I'm charming. We're all charming folk, really.
I don't know if I'm charming. I'm more of a smart ass than anything. Like, remember, charisma is not great. I just make up for it for being a smart ass.
I wonder if you
Play
can
my
go together
intelligence.
and maybe back each other up. Use your intelligence and my charisma to get us in the door. At least see what we can do to try and get in there and get some more information about the entrance itself. I don't know. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong
we're gonna
tree. Is that a
schmooze,
path
then
that
yeah,
people would like to try and pursue? Do we want to try to go to the Cobalt Soul at all? Or are we in poor standing with
so.
them? I don't think we are in any standing with them.
I don't think so. I don't think they really know us other than if Question has said anything. But I don't know if he would be inclined to do that.
I think we should go there and just treat Question like our very bestest old friend. Like wrap my arm around him. Question, you old so and so. It's great to see you. How have you been?
You remember he does have detect thoughts up, right?
Oh, okay. What do we have for that?
And I think
Not
the
much.
Cobalt Soul is particularly interested in vestiges, correct? Because Question was super interested in my shit.
yes.
So
Well, if we go there with that, are they going to try and take it? Maybe
don't
that's
want
not one where
to
you
do
come
that.
along. I don't know. I don't know if we all need to go on everything or not, but
no.
we could all
We
get
can have two
information about it.
groups.
Yep. 2 do groups? Is that what you said?
Yep.
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Let's hear it.
You want your own do group? Okay. Okey dokes. So
I think maybe we have a Cobalt Soul do group.
Yeah, an expedition.
Lady Tatiana plus a face, and then we have I'm thinking more street level, rough and tumble. Get some information out of people. Probably don't want to go back to the casino if that's the nesting ground of Shaman's Paul, but definitely could find people in the city who aren't happy with him around.
No, it's a space that I'm used to. Like Ortega and I used to run in those circles, or at least I used to, and we did for a little while. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm better as a face with Tatiana or.
I would say that Ortega is better.
If I'm better street level.
Intelligent than in street level.
What?
Ortega's smart. They send him to the smart people.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, so we could Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Ortega's probably going to want to stay with Talus.
But Talus is going to go to the street. She's not going to go to a bookstore. Come on, man.
Bookstore.
I assume that's where they all work.
I think Parish Tatiana. I think Parish Tatiana going to the Cobalt Soul. Ari, Ortega, Talus hitting the streets, as those are spaces that you guys work in.
Yeah. So that's great then. So what we are looking on the streets then? Are we essentially just asking around, or is there a strategic approach that we should take with that? Because we've discussed like the research route. I'm not sure how we best want to tackle the streets.
And are these two separate issues that we're looking into? Like Parrish and Tatiana would be looking into Kale Morrow, and then the rest of us would be looking into the Sentinels of Memory. Is that the direction that we're going in?
It's kind of that's what I'm feeling.
And the only other thing I was going to say is I was just looking at my to-do list that I made for myself. Is going to Blade Garden super pressing? Like we should do that ASAP, or is that like we can kind of mosey our way over there? Are we worried about that?
I don't know. How soon am I going to turn into a bloodthirsty rage and bitey bite?
Yeah, that's true. I forget our timeline.
I mean, to get to Blade Garden's gonna take a little bit.
Take a while, right?
Yeah. You're on the other side of the planet.
We can kind of like resolve what we're doing here first, and then maybe think about when we're back on the other continent. Great. Okay.
But keep in mind that I'm a ticking time bomb. Okay, got it.
First off,
Who would you rather be with the Parish?
You've been a ticking time bomb this entire time. It has nothing to do with this current condition. We've gotten quite used to it and treat you accordingly in the most loving, kind of honest way.
I would say you're a ticking time bomb.
If you go off, we'll just throw you in the bag.
You'll just throw me where? I'm sorry?
Ari's back holding, or whoever.
You're not putting me in a bag of holding.
Rory would never speak of that again.
He doesn't know about that.
You catch him up on that, Ari?
I would not have remembered to catch him up on that, probably.
Probably
that was a real one-off
At the end of last
conversation.
session, you said you were going to tell me all of the things.
To be honest, for fun and RP, oops,
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot.
like I said,
I pushed it out of my mind entirely.
this will take place over the course of a couple weeks. So, like, there's a lot of things that if you wanted to get done, it can get done before anything. It's not like you're gonna have to do it all in one day. But
no, I'm imagining we'll need to hit the streets for days and days to be able to like uncover information. It'll be probably things will happen, but it takes time.
Yep.
Is there other background stuff that people also want to be doing? Not necessarily like we could do conversations that we all want to have too. But is there other like individualized tasks that you're looking to do in your downtime?
Eventually I'm going back to a donut shop. I just have to wait for my receipt to tell me to come pick up my order. But
that's right, you got a magic receipt. So you're waiting.
I want to feed the hungry and heal the sick.
Hell yeah. I don't know if I feed anybody with that brick of mold.
The old man Kruk, after about a couple days of laying low, you're able to go back and he gives you exactly what you ask. I'll put it in your inventory. It wasn't that difficult.
Sweet.
Murray wants to play bars. He's gonna play a bar or two an evening. He'll start with open mic nights, but if he's here for a few weeks, essentially, here's the thing, right? He knows the circuit. He knows how this works in these areas. So he's going to do his own sort of beat work. He will be casting he'll disguise self as he's doing it for the most part, though he'll also be covering up his face and stuff like that. He's covered up.
I have an idea.
Oh, sure. I'd love one.
What if we have daytime do groups and nighttime do groups? Because Parrish would also want to do the bar work because he knows that scene and also plays music. And then we can have a bit of inter-party switch up.
I love this idea. That's great.
And everybody's conversations can happen when they switch into their
love that.
do groups and stuff.
I like taking long strolls in the dark with unsuspecting people that I can, drag into an alleyway and just beat information out of them. Have a snack, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Weird. Talus is already in an alleyway, exposing her neck.
Oh, weird. That's so weird.
Oh, look, he found me.
Part of me is slightly worried that if Lady Tatiana comes to all the bars that I'm playing at and you're working at and playing at, Parrish, we will not get hired at bars anymore. So maybe we need to keep a little healthy nighttime distance between that. So, keep a little radius from our bar, okay? When you go sucking innocent people's blood. I'm not Ragbeer anymore. I don't have to worry as much about this. Streets are tough. To be honest, I always wondered where all that blood came from. So,
gotta take a bath somehow.
Oh, we're going further. All right.
No, don't want that much chaos again. But
so, Parrish, you want in on some bar hopping, drink pouring, music playing, collaborating, good times rolling. I think that's great. What are you guys thinking for nighttime?
And Ortega just has conversations he wants to have, and he's only been with the group for a day or two, so he really just needs some one-on-one time with just about everybody. He wants to, in some cases, make amends, in some cases, ruffle feathers, in other cases, just be a friend.
So I'm hearing you're probably going to float between a few other people's evening activities. And you can take that a lot of different ways. Lady Tatiana, I've mostly just heard blood sucking, but is there anything else on your evening agenda, or is it just I'm hungry and now I can't wait for night?
Pleasant conversations with most people.
See, this is the thing is I'm wondering what's going on with Lily.
He's just going to walk around and get information from unsuspecting people in alleyways.
I don't know what Talus is doing during the day or the night.
Dude, I'm just hanging out, man. I don't know. The city's a big place.
During the day, I like the idea of Parrish and I going to the book people and pretending to be smart and maybe acting like the proper lady Tatiana is supposed to be to gather some information.
Right, so Talus is running the streets with us during the day, sorry, I forgot about that. And her evening activities apparently remain hitherto unbound.
Things to be doing. I will perhaps be walking around the city getting into shit like a bad cat. Just up.
Oh, you're just gonna bad alley cat it?
I'm just gonna be up and stuff.
Rolling into the wrong alley.
Are you going to be wistfully pining after a god who's mean to you?
That's so weird. I think I heard something, but I don't know. My headphones cut out for a second there.
My microphone gets fuzzy.
I might also look and see if there are any, rumors floating around, or maybe I'll see if Ank'Harel has a black market scene and check out and see if anybody's talking it about. So any particularly fun artifacts that I might want to look into and see if are important enough for me to hold on to for some friend of mine. We'll see. Undecided. I'm flexible. I'm fun. I'm out and doing things. I don't know yet.
Cal's just going out light fires. I love it.
So let's start with so we wanted to send a team to the Cobalt Soul. All right, so let's deal with that now. Who's going to the Cobalt Soul?
Parrish and Lady Tatiana.
Okay.
Pouring myself a very quick beverage. I will be back in literally 2 minutes. Not even. Be right back. Love you guys tons. Oh my god, this is awesome.
So Parrish, it was Talus and Tatiana? No, just Parrish and Tatiana. Okay. So
because Talus has a relic.
Yes. Parrish.
Manny, what information are we gaining from them?
Sorry, what'd you say?
What information are we getting from them? I was half paying attention. Where the entrance to I don't take notes, clearly.
El Maro, the drowned city, if you will.
Oh no, they sent the 2 players that don't take notes. We are looking for the entrance to tomorrow. And I am curious if they have any additional information on the Gem of 3 Prayers or other such items. They had some interest, and I feel we would be better off knowing more about it.
Okay, yeah. So you two head down towards where the Cobalt Soul has kind of been located, and you head back to the last place that you had run into Question, and they're there just casually, just doing some odd and ends bookworming, so to speak. And you head over to them, and they look at you and, oh, hello. It's been a bit since we last spoke. I see you're doing well.
On a note that Ari made, I think I would like to make a disguise check, or both, or just myself.
Okay.
Not like putting on prosthetics and stuff, just like cloak up. I am wearing my armor underneath because we've been the target of assassination attempts, so that would be silly to go through a city like this without it. Is this a...
Make a performance check. And if you have proficiency with the disguise kit.
I don't think I do, but my performance is a +7, which brings my total up to 8.
Okay. Hey, you think you did really good. Yeah, you think you're not easily detectable, yeah.
I put a cloak on. This is definitely...
I'm just looking at you like, what are you doing?
I'm incognito.
Lady Tatiana, it was I, Parrish.
Yeah, it is.
So you get the Question, and it's not difficult for them to see right through you. You're a little over disguised. And so Question looks at you and goes, you fared well.
It's been an interesting time here, that's for sure.
Yes, we've had some difficulties in the city. We were hoping to ask for some assistance, though.
Of course. Yes, you will find that Uncorel has many challenges and many tastes. But as luck may have it, you are interesting members to the Cobalt Soul. I was actually coming to speak to Prolex soon to find you, as one of my superiors actually wants to speak with you.
Well, that is quite fortuitous then. I suppose we should get that out of the way, though. Our coming here was to ask if we might use your archive.
Of course. You have always been more than welcome to use the archive. Actually, it's quite a coincidence. The person that wishes to speak to you is one of the head mistresses of that archive. I can take you. It's the Temple of the Mentor.
Lady Tatiana, after you.
Lead the way, Question.
So Question takes you to the Temple of the Mentor, which is it is more of a library than it is a hall of worship, obviously being from the Cobalt Soul. But it does double as a bit of a worship, and you see a bunch of statues and portraits to Ayun, one of the gods. And you see that it's a ceramic mosaic of 3 open eyes framed in cobalt blue crowns as the entrance to the Temple of the Mentor. And dedicated to Ayun, it also doubles as a base of operations for their Marquesian branch of the Library of the Cobalt Soul. You walk in, and you see shelves are lined with the walls of the temple sanctuary, all filled near to capacity with meticulously cataloged poems, scrolls, periodicals that are all available for public inspection. You see staircases lead up from the sanctuary to what appears to be the residence apartments and the scriptorium. and up farther to the quarters of the Cobalt Soul's higher-ranking members, and stairs lead down from the sanctuary to a locked door, and behind that door is yet to remain seen. But it's very open, and they don't really have anything to hide. Just you see one door is closed, except for like the residential stuff, and then the higher up stuff. But you do see a kind of a sardonic monk, a half-orc. She comes up to you and she introduces herself and she goes, "Hello, I'm Iwo Zala. I've been meaning to speak with you. You are the banded broken that I have been informed of?"
At least.
Well, that's very good. Now, I've been under the assumption that there was vestiges of divergence on your party. Are they here?
No, the vestige is with the remainder of the Bandit Broken, though we were hoping to get some more information about it.
Yes, right this way. And she kind of takes you to this one area in the library. It looks like it is more so reserved for actual members of the Cobalt Soul, and she brings you over and puts down her staff, and it's actually topped with the carving of a snake's head. And you notice that Iwo has like numerous body piercings. You see that she's got like tattoos, and they're kind of glowing in that Cobalt Soul-esque vibe. If you've ever played the original Babel, I think Whisper was the character, or the mage, I don't remember his name, but very, very similar glowing blue runic tattoos. It kind of like contrasts their greenish skin. And they pull out an old tome and they give it to you, and it is a tome basically on their catalogs of the vestiges of divergence so far that they're aware of. I suppose this is what you're looking for. It would have been nice to see the Jewel of Three Pairs. However, where did you get that armor?
This was recently acquired by Lady Tatiana, and I'll take off my cloak, very well disguising me. I'm not sure why you would have much interest in it, though.
May I just for a moment?
But of course.
And she casts prestidigitation on it, cleaning it up, making it no longer rusty, no longer frayed, and you see now this beautiful scale armor kind of shine through. And she's set back as you look at her. I'm sorry, Parrish? What was Tatiana? I need to know where you got this.
It was meant for someone else, and I
don't care who it was meant for. I need to know, where did you get it from?
Just pulled it off a dead corpse.
Which dead corpse?
Do you know how many I see? You really expect me to remember?
Lady Tatiana, I feel like you would remember pulling a vestige of divergence off of some dead corpse. You do not know what this is.
I mean, that rusted piece of crap is a vestige. I guess it's not rusted anymore, but to me it was a rusted piece of crap. And I pulled it off a dead body and I threw it at Parrish. Trust me. Before, didn't have much. No offense, sweetie.
None taken, though I do believe I likely owe you a drink.
I think you know.
May I ask what the Cobalt Soul's interest in these vestiges are? This truly is one.
Well, the Cobalt Soul is all about persevering, preserving, and security of these ancient artifacts of magnificence. We have... There's about 9 or 10 that we've been able to catalog. One has been reported missing for about 40 years, 20 to 40 years or so. There have been numerous that have come through our doors, but this one, if they are what I think they are, and I'm not normally wrong, this is the antique armor forged from jade and black dragon scales once worn by Yaman Sa Ord of Ankarel. This is the armor of the valiant soul. This is not ordinary armor. Why, of course, would we here in Ankarel be very interested in this particular item? Well, I'm assuming the leader of Ankarel would probably want their armor back.
Perhaps that is a conversation I best have with them.
Oh, you very likely won't have a conversation with them.
Oh.
So I have to ask, which dead corpse?
I didn't catch a name.
This hasn't seen. It's been rumored to have floated around since its disappearance. Oh heavens! 7,000 years ago, but all of those rumors were false. Traders bypassing each other and merchants talking of a rusted piece of armor. If you didn't catch a name, I understand. It could have.
I get it.
It could have answered a lot of questions that I'm sure would be very informative for us.
Is your intention to inform the leader of Ankarel that their armor has been found?
Well, naturally, yes. However, whether or not they would have interest in it after all these years remains to be seen. They've switched from militant to political, and they're very reclusive. But if you were to join the Cobalt Soul, we could be killing two birds with one stone. You see, we are sworn to protect these items, and having it be worn and used could help us with research on its great power. And you would be under the Cobalt Soul's tutelage. Something to think about. Now, obviously, if you didn't know it was what it is, I'm not going to, take it from you. I'm not going to take it with force. I could if I would, but I'm not. I'll let you think about it. Take the book that I give you. It's got information on this item, at least what we know. It's not a lot, and it's again. There's vestiges in there that we've known existed, but we don't have any information on. There are some that we've extensively cataloged, some that were owned by members of the Cobalt Soul themselves. So whatever you need, but I think the offer isn't going to last long before we do want it. Now, as for the Jewel of Three Prayers, I've come to learn that there's a little bit more to that story as well, and when we've got our eyes where we need them to be, we know right now that they're probably safe, especially with the bandit group.
Right? See the book and look through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. It's just on a table.
As I flip through the pages, what sort of information do I see on Fenthras?
Fenthras is one of the ones that is very highly documented. It's got multiple pages on it. It's one of the biggest, most documented ones. You do see that it has a list of its owners. You do see that there is a Vexalia. You see that there's Sondor, and you see that there is a name that you find familiar, Leovir. However, you do see that there is a line scratched across Leovir, and it says lost.
Just because you can't find her doesn't mean she's lost. And I'll just tap her name and then close the book.
Well, it
could just mean she doesn't want to be found.
From our sources, we know that she's no longer on this plane.
I know, I think that much.
Now, we did have another matter that we wish to investigate your archives for.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking for an entrance to ruins beneath the city.
Kael Moro.
The very...
Yes. Well, funny you would say that. That is kind of one of the reasons that we were trying to speak to you as well. We know that you're interested in it. And we know that, well, there is an entrance. That's actually not that difficult.
Care to share where that is?
Well, it is currently an excavation site. We all know where it is. It's the Allegiance's excavation site. They have been handling it for a while. The problem is, it is currently controlled by the consortium of the Vermilion Dream. So all of our efforts to get back in have been met with, not great outcome.
We may have more information on the consortium soon.
Okay, that's great news. All of the information against the enemies are fantastic.
Thank you very much for the information and your hospitality.
Of course.
I will consider your offer, but I'm only a piece of the bandit broken, and it will need to be discussed with the remainder. And I do thank you for the discretion, and I advise that, much like the leader of this city has chosen, if you do seek out these vestiges, diplomacy is the best course. Just like, diplomacy is good, but a little menacing.
Well, we are preservers. If we have to resort to violence to get these items, we risk damaging them. And if somebody down the line does genuinely need to use them for their intended purpose, or heaven forbid something happens like the calamity over again, we need these items all in one place, safe and secured, which is why we are so keen on documenting and finding all of these artifacts. So
I don't think that anyone in the party would have an issue with us reporting on any of our findings or information, but using violence to take them would also hurt the people that they are meant to protect.
Well, I know it was an accident that you have come to wear this ancient armor. I see why it chose you. I think it's in good hands, but for your sake and for your friends' sake and safety, it's probably better to keep this armor dirty and unknown.
All in the mud.
Would you like me to revert the...
No. He's gonna roll in the mud.
We do have a plan for that.
Yes.
Thank you. And I can see the purpose in wanting to keep these safe and secure and known about. I don't know if I will be able to deliver it, but I promise to use it in accordance to keeping people of this realm safe.
That's all I can ask. That's all the Cobalt Soul asks. Very well. If there's anything else, you're welcome to use the libraries. And normally we would go about giving you tasks and missions, but since you already are donning a vestige of divergence that I thought long lost, a simple ask to join from you will suffice. And I can have check on you regularly. Shouldn't be an issue. And hopefully we can all work together to save Uncorel and keep it safe.
If there's nothing else, I believe I have an appointment with a sty.
Okay.
Where's the nearest barn?
Barn?
He needs to roll in the mud,
Your best bet's probably the River District. There's a baker. He throws all of his stuff to his pigs.
I think I know the baker. Burns his croissants.
Yes, burns his croissants.
I know where we're going. Come on, Parrish. I'll show you the way.
Be careful around him. We've had dealings, and we are continuously having dealings. He is not exactly the best person to make friends with.
Not exactly the best baker either, from what I understand.
No,
Thank you very much for it.
Not the place I go for breakfast. Let's go, Parrish.
Okay.
We will make our way to the River District.
All right. This would also be the time when Tatiana could pick up her gun, which it would have been completed by this point. So we're going to jump around. Let's go to the other team. Where did you guys want to go?
Well, Tatiana, you and I have, sorry, I got all mixed up there because Tatiana doesn't blew my mind. Captain Tallis, you and I have run streets before. We may have run them in different ways. Ortega here may have lost the plot a little bit on how to do it, but trust me, he's good in a pinch, as you well know. A couple different ways we can approach it. How do you want to head out? Because we're staying together. Let's make that clear. We need the three of us. We don't know if we're being hunted or not. So whatever we do, the three of us need to be sticking together. That work for you both?
I'm good.
Fine by me.
You seem just thrilled about the idea. Don't worry, you'll have time to traipse around on your own. Trust me, but how would you want to run something like this?
Now, I don't know what the two of you are used to doing when you say run the street. I personally am good at getting people to put their attention where I want it to be. And usually that is on me. If I'm in a port, I would like people to know I'm there and give me the things that I would like them to give me. So my instinct is to get the attention of the Sentinels of Memory somehow and get them looking in our direction. That's what my instinct is. Now, I don't want that to put you in a vulnerable position with getting Shaman's Paul's attention, but we're not going to know how the organization operates if we don't know where they are, and we're not going to know where they are unless they come looking for us. That's my thought.
Well, I gotta say, I do like the idea of a little subterfuge. And if our biggest weakness is that Shaman's Paul is hunting me, well, that could be our greatest opportunity. That's how bait works. Saying if we wanted to see if we could lure a team out, lure out a hit, lure out something, just Ari drunk walking home. You know, I play drunk convincingly, often because I am drunk. But we get the potential of being followed, and we can potentially set up a trap. We just have to hope it's small enough force that we can overwhelm them, take them, and potentially beat information out of them or extract it in other ways we see fit.
It's either that
Not
or
elegant, but sorry, go ahead, Ortega, my bad.
it's either that or we find someone who they haven't seen, like
I
myself.
don't know how to make them hunt us. Well, there's a few different ways we can essentially just start going and roughing up people we find and sending them off with a new target that someone's generally speaking. And I wanted to start beef between two gangs, which is my favorite operation to run, by the way. It takes out half of them for you. My job becomes so much easier. You pit them against each other by wearing each other's colors and going and picking fights with someone low level who's available. Generally someone who's running a kind of illicit gambling game, something that touches the public streets. Rough them up, send them back running, and then tell them exactly what they saw. Then we just watch and see what happens and find opportunities where we can. So we
That's
can
one
incite
idea.
a war, which again tends to have a lot of unfortunate collateral, and I used to be more okay with that than I generally feel now.
I think that creates unwanted attention.
Well, we need some attention. If we're gonna rattle cages, it gets loud.
What if I attempted to join?
You'd be an enticing person, but again, that does separate us. How are we supposed to stay linked?
Bide our time until we get a little bit more information.
Well, it'd be easy enough to find out what their intake path is. We can find out how to get you an audience with someone who can get you in. But, I mean, getting you inside that organization is a long-term con. You're not going to find out anything in a few weeks, a few months. It took us years to know that Shaman's Paul even had an organization and we were his band. Talking about a long-term operation. I don't think we have that kind of time. I don't think Tatiana has that kind of time.
Well, roughing people up would be the quickest.
I mean, we can try and book you a meeting with somebody. We can use that as an inciting way to move this forward. We can try and book you a call, but they bring you into their setup, into one of their hideouts. We'll be gunslinging in a place where we are not likely to walk out alive.
I mean, you can disguise yourself, right? So if Talus can do the same, then that's something we can just be three people that are
Looking to
make some coin.
You know what? Kyle, would Ari have enough capability or memory of the organization or people that he saw when he was going through that he would recognize that he could name drop somebody as a reference?
Yeah, Shaman's Paul.
No, I would prefer not to necessarily drop Shaman's Paul's name. I don't think we want to track him just at this level yet.
There was, to your knowledge, there was no other name given.
Okay.
But
So I don't recognize anybody from the old operation. I guess they did mostly all get killed.
I mean, to be fair, I could just name drop that one. You already know where he's at.
That's true, but all right. I mean, Shaman's Paul does not typically do the recruiting, but we can find you a way in either way. Dropping a name is just one option. I think relatively, you walk up and say, "Hey, I would like to help you with criminal things." Criminals say, "Sure." Look at you. They just don't know how smart you are.
Most people don't.
Yeah, no, it's a real humdinger when they find out. Alice, we've got a few options. We can try and book a meeting, get Ortega in. go with them, try and take it over. We could rough up some street thugs, pick a fight, set up another group if we want to, and watch the dominoes fall and hop in when the time suits us. Or we can just start knocking and kicking down doors where we start finding things out. And essentially, I guess I can't say John Wick our way through this, but yeah, but like D&D John Wick our way through an entire criminal underworld organization, which again, not wise, we will probably lose. Curious what your thoughts are.
I agree that it's probably a good idea to keep our identities at least somewhat hidden. That way, if Shaman's Paul has, put our names and faces out there, then we're a little bit more insulated against that. In terms of how to go about doing it, this is your turf, Ari. I don't deal with these kinds of organizations. I would say that I would go into any meeting expecting to start throwing punches. Maybe that happens either way. But what I know is that people like this make mistakes when their operations get disrupted. If you throw a wrench in the system, something's bound to go wrong. So maybe we call a meeting and maybe we get in there and see how things go, but people aren't going to start panicking until something goes wrong.
Here's I think maybe a good way to do it, because I love that idea. That is when people get sloppy. And Shaman's Paul has been on top for a while, and I don't think he's used to having his cage shook. So my concern is if we call for a meeting and it's in one of their hideouts, we will be outnumbered, we will be outgunned, we will be outbladed, we will be outmagicked, and they will have guards on the door that will see probably through our disguises if it's in one of their hideouts. Shaman's Paul does not mess around when it comes to security, unfortunately. We can risk that, but we will be tipping our hand the moment we walk through the door. Alternatively, we can also disrupt his operation, essentially just messing it up, and not just into random fights, but we target the things that we can see first, those low-level things, and we start ending it until we get a big enough fish, and we make that fish talk, which I am good at one way or another.
Here's an idea. I go in, try to get a job. Obviously, I'm going to start out at the very ground floor, but I'm sure that I'll have some form of task. And if I'm with a couple others, I can relay that task to you guys and we can disrupt the first small task.
Not a bad way to get insight.
But if I'm the only one left after we beat some information out of whoever's leading that, and I go back and say, we got fucked up, and then the next time it gives me a job, we do the same thing.
They're going to be nice
slowly work our way up.
If their brand new person comes back and says, oh shit, everybody died, it totally wasn't my fault, but I'm the only one coming back, they're going to kill you where you stand. You don't fail your first audition.
Okay, so
the idea of a long-term integration into the underground criminal network is not, they will cut you off before you'll be able to help us, or they will notice the pattern because they will not trust you for a very long time. We can use it to get information. We can get you in there. We can give you a chance to go in, but you'd be going in rather alone to get that information. Then you'd come and share it, but that would be probably the end of any sort of undercover work. This isn't a long-term sting. We're here to shake it hard until it breaks.
Throwing rocks through windows. That's my idea. Genuinely.
I prefer throwing thugs through windows.
Yeah, that works too.
But you need a target.
So go and get us a target. And once we've got it, there's no going back there for you.
Was there anyone else that was there? That's probably good. Or was there anyone else that wasn't there?
Nope.
Claire, I know that Tatiana wasn't there.
I was going to say Tatiana wasn't there.
I think for this part of the adventure, sort of Tatiana's booked.
Yeah, so I think it's just you.
So I think we got a good plan, though. If you go in, get us our information, will give us a first target, and then we just go there. Enough to be able to find, again, our goal isn't to have him show himself in the middle of the street to come and kill us. Our goal is to get, hopefully quickly, maybe even right away, someone who can give us the information that we really need about what they're planning and where they will be. That's really our goal. This is information.
I was going to say,
we got to find it relatively quickly.
My pitch for this is that if we just start making trouble and disrupting what they're assuming are going to be standard daily operations that should go off without a hitch, and then suddenly there's this whatever is coming up and messing this up. If plans have to change, if routes have to change, if, assignments have to change, that's just more opportunities for them to make mistakes or for people to be nervous or whatever. That's Talus' thinking of like, how do we get things shaken up a little bit so that somebody is more likely to make a mistake?
Ari's fully agreed. I really think that's our way forward. We just don't have the opportunity for subterfuge. Like, we don't have time to get it inside man.
I just don't really see what exactly we're trying to disrupt. Like, is what we disrupt going to be big enough to?
Remember that this isn't a one and done. This is a process where we go, we cause some trouble, we shake it down, we find out more, we disrupt, and again, as we disrupt and as we learn and as we are gathering this information, that's when they make mistakes. That's when they have to start taking risks that they are not used to taking. It is Batman 101 for how you take down the Falcone crime family. It is literally what Batman does. In fact, we should Batman the hell out of this. Batman.
Not a DC guy, sorry.
Well, it's awesome, and I think it works. I think it works for the group we have here for our strengths.
All right, well, so what's the plan? Walk into a casino and make enough noise that I
wouldn't walk into the dragon's jaws necessarily. I say that we investigate around, which we know how to do. We know these streets. So if now kind of going into the actual strategy of this. Honestly, their crew is usually, there's some identifying features that I would know about it, whether it's gear, insignia, or something, I would know. And we check shady alleys, we check little gambling games, we check like the street level crime. I'm not sure if there's drugs in D&D. I'm not sure if we have a game with drugs in it or not. But like if they're doing sood or selling sood out there, whatever they call it. I forget what Scanlan calls it. Anyways.
What you know about Shaman's Paul and what you think you know about the Sentinels of Memory, you don't think them to be like the street level thug like kind of gang. You know that they have a little bit more pull to that. And throughout your research, throughout the week or so that you spend trying to figure that out, you come to realize that they are a new group. And you also find out that they really only do operate out of one spot, the casino.
Do we cause trouble in the casino? Do we cause trouble outside of the casino? But you know what moves back? And well, I guess most of the time the money stays in the casino, but now and again they gotta move it. Generally speaking, Shaman's Paul's got a center of operations. He'll be moving plenty of things to and from that as he sees fit. We could stake it out. We could stake out the casino for a while and try and see what kind of opportunities there are to cause mayhem. Or, we could just set it on fire.
That's sounding more and more appealing the more we find out about them.
Yeah. There are people inside. So I could thaumaturgy, holy shit, it's on fire. And hope for the best. We could literally just set it on fire. We'd hobble his operation. You talk about disrupting his operation, it'd hobble it. If I set it on fire, there's a lot of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I could set it on fire. That's not a problem.
So sorry, man. I got my volume cranked here. I just can't hear you.
I could set it on fire. That's not a problem.
All right, so we've got, I think, 2 for arson and 3 for arson? We're arson?
That sounds great.
Look, there could be a bunch of different ways of doing it. I do like the idea of trying to get innocent people out. Where are we on the getting innocent people out part?
Well, I don't think we have to set it on fire to burn the whole place down. You just got to set it on fire enough that they're going to want to get everybody and everything out before it burns down.
I really like the sound of this. We could go in, start from the inside, find a couple of his guys. I wouldn't mind popping a few heads while we're there. And you mentioned something about wanting to slice off a few. We could take out a few people from his operations, start a fire, and get out of there, hopefully in a couple of minutes before they have time to react. And then we need an escape plan. But if we can have something outside waiting for us to go.
I'm more inclined to follow what comes out instead of staying in there.
That's
do it from the outside.
Idea.
Follow where they got to move shit.
Can we secure a place outside of the casino?
Magic items another way. You can pick a target.
Yeah, that's true. Their most precious stuff is going to be in a safe that won't be impacted by fire, probably. But it is interesting to see, like, seeing what comes out, generally speaking, will be telling. So if we can try and have like a hiding spot that we know of, or a couple of hiding spots around the area where we'll know to see. Also, gotta say, if we do this during the day, we are much less likely to hurt innocent people. It's mostly busy at night.
Well, it's a date for tomorrow then.
Oh, fun with arson.
So you guys,
be the name of the episode. There we go.
You guys spend a couple days casing out the casino.
Yeah, recon.
You know that during the day, the exterior of the casino is bustling more so. Like there's the vendors and the shops and stuff like that. And then nighttime is kind of when the everyone kind of flocks to the casino and spends their hard-earned gold. You do notice over the next little while that it seems as though they're increasing their guard. And you start to hear, let's have every one of you make a perception check. Just the three of them.
Oh,
13.
21.
Okay, so Talus, as you are perusing the back alleys, trying to cause some shit like you are, you overhear a couple of people muttering to themselves in an alleyway kind of tucked in behind the Lux Run Casino. They seem to be devising a plan potentially to break into the casino. They don't seem like they're coordinated, but you recall that situation and you now realize that they're increasing the guard potentially because of this threat.
Sucks.
You also see the guard is increasing, and on the last day that another guard walks out, you see that they no longer match the normal attire of the Lux Run Casino guards. These ones more so have Sentinels of Memory attire, stuff that Ari would recognize. And you see he's looking around and trying to see if he can scout out people, and he pulls a little scroll out of his thing as he finds somebody, and he hands it to them, and he hands them a pouch of what appears to be money of sorts, or gold. And so the scroll is all tightly bound, and you see this one character start to mosey on down the back alley.
Let me take care of that.
I do love watching you work. I will I'll keep distance on him, but I've got his back.
Ortega is going to make to intercept the fellow that walked away with the sword.
Okay. So you start heading towards where they're going, and you see that they're walking towards a bar of sort, and you see that this bar is called the First Eclipse, and the person with the scroll is a dragonborn. A dragonborn, blue dragonborn, very skinny, and they're just about to get into the bar.
Basically, like right before, I'd like to kind of walk up beside him and then just usher him into an alleyway.
Okay.
That Ari could just kind of stand at the corner of the alleyway to make sure we stay private.
Yep, I'm just as he shoves him in, Ari's just there eating an apple and just keeping an eye.
And Ortega's just gonna say, "Where you heading there, fella?"
The blue dragonborn looks at you and hisses, "Well, that's for me to know. Who might you be?"
That's for me to know. I suggest you hand over the scroll, tell me your business, and then walk to the other side of the city. And I cast suggestion.
Nice.
What is the roll that I have to make?
I believe it is a charisma save. Nope, it is a wisdom save. DC 15.
I think
if they did, I will cast Silvery Barbs, which I can use on a saving throw.
Okay.
You must re-roll the d20, choose the lower roll, and then a different creature I can see within range has advantage on either the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, and I will pass that over to Ortega.
Well, they passed by just one extra. They got a 16. And with the higher roll, they would have gotten an 18. So
dang.
Yeah. But that's okay, because this person doesn't seem to be super intimidated by Ortega, and they just look at you and they go, "Well, perhaps I could be persuaded to give you the scroll for a little bit of coin. See, in my business, our business, money talks more than paper."
Oh, I can give you money. That's not a problem. So start talking.
Well, I'm assuming you followed me from the Lux Run Casino. As you know, or as you've seen, they're upping their guard. There is an attack coming, and they are looking for recruits. This is a letter for recruits, you see. I was just simply coming to put it to my bar, as that is where our recruits are meeting. There is someone there that wishes to give them all the information they need, as well as extra coin.
Hey, you're gonna get to do your thing.
See, if you had just told me what it was, we wouldn't have had to go through all this kerfuffle.
Well, it's my business of secrets. So, how much value are my secrets to?
I'm not sure that your secrets have any value to me, but your coin purse does.
Just so you know, if you attempt to rob me in front of my business, there will be consequences.
Easy, Ortega, easy. He just taps his shoe on the wall.
Why don't...
As much as I like trouble, I don't need it today.
Why don't we take this conversation inside? Come, enjoy my tending at the first eclipse. I will, out of generosity, offer you a beverage on the house. However, if you want this scroll, it will cost you.
I don't need the beverage. You can just give one to my friend here.
I'll take 2.
I will give you 1.
He can have mine.
This is not the place where our negotiations need to fall apart here now. How much gold?
You're in luck. I'm only going to part with this invitation for 120 gold pieces. However, I know that the payout is far more. You'll make your money back if you complete the job.
It's hard not to argue, or rather, it is hard to argue with a man whose loyalty is for sale to the highest bidder. Ortega, we've got the money.
I'll give you 100, and I'll take the scroll, and we won't need a beverage.
Very well, 100 is fine.
Ortega will take a coin pouch off his side and basically just take the scroll before handing him the pouch.
You see his reptilian hand come out and take the pouch, puts it in his pocket, which looks very full of other money pouches at this point. Well, it appears that our exterior business has been concluded. Now, if you'll allow me to go back to my business, the person you are expecting to give you the information is inside in the back room. Show her that invitation and tell them that Shaman's Pal needs their assistance.
Inside check.
Go bananas.
Can I either also insight check or give it? I guess I can't. You can't assist at insight check, really, can you? It doesn't seem like it. I don't know.
Sending positive vibes.
You can suss them out yourself and make your own rolls.
Well, I'm going to suss the crap out of that guy.
Ortega believes the shit out of him.
Insight check. Oh, it's a 16.
I don't know if I'm there, but 22.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
You guys are all...
Who's there? Yeah, you're there.
I'm just hanging out outside.
You see this, he's such a sketchy, skeezy character. He doesn't seem to be lying, but he's playing the pronoun game, which is always really confusing. You know that there's definitely a her waiting for you on the inside, but he's not going to elaborate.
Ortega's just going to sidestep out of his way so that he can go about his business.
Pleasure. And he slinks past you, very disgustingly, opens the door and shoo.
Everything about that made me uncomfortable, except for you, Ortega. That was boss.
Don't feel happy. I have a date.
I'll extort you for it later. But for now, it looks like you do have a date waiting inside for you right now. Let me tell you, friend, you've got all the luck you need, but here's a little more. And I will cast Bardic Inspiration, giving him Bardic Inspiration for any ability check or whatever he needs to do when he gets in there.
Is he going alone?
I was going to say, I would be willing to go with. I think disguise self is also a good idea. If the letter isn't one person only. Like if they're looking to recruit multiple guards, I think it makes sense for all of us to go.
And they already know what's up. Like, yeah, if they're hunting for people, I don't know. I do think they'd have, if he's this skeezy guy, do we feel like he's got security in there that's going to be able to see through disguise self? Because it doesn't seem like it to me.
A first eclipse bar? No way.
Well, yeah, no, no.
Come on.
Yeah, no, that never, you know what? Yeah.
What's the letter say, Kyle?
It is quite literally just a letter that basically is saying, we hear that there's an attack coming. We are consulting with you to outsource and hire some very well-trained recruits. It is not lettered or addressed to anyone specific. Then the note continues on to say, if someone has this note or mentions this note, they've already gone through our processes.
Right. Well, I would prefer not to have my own face shown. So I will cast Disguise Self, and I will turn myself into essentially Lady Tatiana, but a little taller, hair a little longer, nails a little nicer. Just gonna lux it up a little bit. Now, and if that's not a thing. If those nails can't be done better, then game recognized game. But Ari's gonna do a little. Oh, never mind. I lose. Oh gosh, I just saw her nails. The audience can't see that, but if you could, I lose. Anyway, Ari's gonna fancy himself up and kind of go like a Lady Tatiana looking person.
Okay, but
pretty much Lady Tatiana.
Just like you're not Lady Tatiana though.
No. I just look like her.
Okay.
I want to carry that devil may care, don't mess with me energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is Talus going to dress up as or disguise?
So I was gonna say, do we know if the Sentinels of Memory would have any kind of like association with, and you're gonna have to forgive me because I don't know any Critical Role stuff. What's the name of, is it the Kryn dynasty?
The Kryn? Like the Drow?
Kryn. Yeah. Like, do they have any kind of connection in that, like, as a political thing?
Not really. Kryn are, kind of considered not great to certain factions of the world. But in Uncorel and specifically the Sentinels of Memory, no, they don't. I mean, they're just, take it or leave it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I'll just, like, I'm trying to think of something unassuming, but like, okay, yeah, you look like you would get involved in this shit. So I'll just disguise myself as a drow.
And is Ortega gonna disguise himself?
Nope.
Okay.
Ortega can't do that.
I mean, that's the guy you hire. If this is the job, if this is a group interview for like security toughs to up security, that guy walks in, everyone's just like,
oh man,
going home.
Okay.
I guess Ortega will lead the way then.
All right. So you lead the way and you enter into this really scuzzy bar. It is not a great place at all. I
love it here.
It is in sharp contrast to the glimmering Lux Run Casino, which is across the street. The first Eclipse is notable for its maroon stone walls and ash black door. Inside, you see old ale barrels have been turned into tables, and the back wall is covered with painted lids from ales, wines, and liquor casks from across Exandria. You see the back room seems to look like it goes down a floor a little bit from what you can tell, and you see that there's a long table, and on the long table kind of expands to it's perpendicular to where you are, to the door. So you don't see who's on the head at either end. You do see at the back wall there are a few locked cabinets, and you walk in and you see the blue dragonborn who is now behind the bar. And you walk in to the back room, which is currently opened as they're taking in recruits. And you see a couple people walk out and they look at you and they nod. And then you walk in and you see a lady in red. She's writing something down. She doesn't notice you at first. Kind of like in a repetitive tone, she goes, "Well, you've made it. I hope you're not disappointed by mercenary work. It's not exciting as other jobs, but it pays. And she looks up. She looks at Ortega.
Who looks at her like he's never seen her before.
Oh my God, he doesn't know her.
She looks at you and she goes, "Oh, well, at least one of your band of merry men decided to join the right side. It's a shame what had to happen with your friend back then, but this is a very great start. You don't by chance happen to have the Jewel of Three Prayers on you, do you?"
I do not, and I don't roll with them anymore.
Oh, such a shame. They would have made great members in the Vermilion Dream. Very well.
I don't think they would have. They're too busy squabbling with each other. Came such a headache, I had to get out.
Well, you've come to the right place. You see, here in the Vermilion Dream, we are all about giving second chances, seeing the true potential to all of our candidates. This is going to be so much easier to convince you since you're already here. Although, I do wonder. Never mind. So you want to be in the Vermilion Dream, or do you want to be in the Sentinels of Memory? I can vouch for both. But you are going to do this job.
Which one pays better?
Well, it depends on what you want and consider pay. Do you want power, fame, fortune? Or do you just want money and that's it, that's all?
Money, trinkets. I'm an easy man to please.
Well, really the answer is the Consortium of the Vermilion Dream is better in every way than the Sentinels of Memory, for we have outlived any other faction that has come up in many of the years that we've been here. But I do say the Sentinels of Memory are making great strides in this town, really bringing the casino up.
Judging by your color scheme, I think I already know which one I want.
Precisely.
I don't even think I need money. I don't see a ring on your finger.
Oh. Interesting. Flattery is a form, yes. Sorry, you're not my type.
Oh, I'm everybody's type.
No, I mean you're not my type, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Anyway.
Then I'm sure a woman of your stature can match me with someone of equal standing.
Come to think of it, there really isn't anybody in the Vermilion Dream that are really interested in pursuing that kind of endeavor right now.
Oh, I'm not in it for an endeavor. I'm just in it for the fun.
You'll find you'll have more fun as the Sentinel of Memory then. We
That's a shame.
take things much more seriously here, and we are worldly as opposed to the Sentinels, which are just strictly in this town.
I find that the Sentinels are chaotic, young. Not sure I like that. I like to be a little more calculated. But I like to have fun too.
Well, one thing that I have learned with our new faction, the leader, Shaman's Paul, is very calculated, and he has a lot of fun. If you ever meet him, and I'm sure you will, ask him where he keeps his toys.
I do like a good boy from time to time. What's the job?
The job is, quite simply put, it's mercenary work, like I said. I will give you 250 gold right now up front, and I will give you 750 gold once the job is completed.
There you go.
However, if any money gets stolen from the Lux Run Casino that comes out of any stipend that I give you, you are to guard and to make sure that the Lux Run Casino operates 100% perfectly normal, and that not a single soul who should not be there looking to steal from the casino or do harm to its patrons or its leaders, any means necessary.
I think that can be done quite easily. I do have a question for you, though.
And what is that?
I followed my old band to the River District.
Okay.
They were, from my understanding, looking for a way to the city under the city.
Oh, right.
They're looking for something important.
Of course they are.
If you happen to know where it's located, I could make sure they stay away from it.
That is well above your pay grade, unfortunately. I'm not going to divulge that information with you.
I'm sure you'll come to find out that nothing's above my pay grade.
Even if you find your way of managing to make it all the way to the top, the Vermilion Dream has it all covered. Your little friends are not going to get anywhere near it anyways.
They're not going to stop looking.
They can look all they want. It's not going to change anything. In the end, I will get those jewels.
And just a professional courtesy is all I ask. Let me know where not to be when shit goes down, because shit always goes down. Especially when there's 4 different factions looking for the same damn things.
If shit goes down, you're expected to be where the shit is going.
No, I'm where you're paying me to be.
Which is exactly where you're going to be. If the
using my hopefully, wait, is my voice masquerade? No, my voice isn't masquerading with disguise self, is it?
No.
You can throw it if you want.
Oh, I've got thaumaturgy, and that lets me change my voice, right?
Mm-hmm, it does.
I believe it just makes it go louder or quieter. I don't think it changes the tone. So make sure nothing happens at the casino tomorrow. That's the job.
That is the job.
Where do I find you for collecting the full payment?
Right here.
Sounds good. Is this one mine then? I was going to point to I'm going to assume there's probably a pouch of gold on the table already.
Yeah, she's got a few there, yeah.
Normally my procedure would be to ask you to double the upfront pay because I know what my skill set is.
I was able to best your entire group of friends in a single swipe. I'm not concerned with your skill set. At this point, you are just another body. I am not doubling your money. You either take it or you leave it.
I said it's my normal procedure. I didn't say I would do it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Very well. I will see you tomorrow.
And Ortega's going to turn to walk out. And if the other 2 are in the room with him, he's just going to say, go on, get.
Oh.
Job's mine.
Wait, one more thing. If you happen to come across your old party again, ask them how they're doing from me. And even better, I will give you 10,000 gold for every head of theirs you bring me.
That's an enticing offer.
I will give you a position by my side, which is worth more money than you think if you bring me the Jewels of 3 Prayers. It could be our little secret job.
I'll see what I can do, but if you haven't caught on yet, I don't really have anything I want to do with it.
Well, you were more than willing to go tell them where not to go in a little while, so...
Well, misdirecting is its own thing.
I trust you as far as I can throw you. And that's not very far.
I don't really trust you either.
You guys all head out of the First Eclipse bar and make your way back to the tavern.
Quick question. Did I grab 3 pouches or did I just grab 1 pouch?
You grabbed as many as you...
We grabbed our pouches too. Pouches.
Then I definitely would have grabbed 3 pouches.
So you each get 250 gold pieces up front, which is great. And...
Oh, we got some dumb books.
Kind of has to...
So as you guys are kind of all doing your rounds and you've met up kind of at the tavern at the end of every night and you've been discussing things, and one of the nights you kind of are all heading back. This is pretty much the day before, or this is the night of you guys getting this information, and you haven't really seen anybody come and go that you're familiar with within the past couple of weeks. You've seen, people doing their work and their day-to-day stuff. And any of you that has been working on any skills or any trades like that, like playing instruments and stuff like that, you guys can each roll a performance check, and we'll see how you did.
Is it safe to say that I've attuned my gun?
Yeah, you would have attuned your gun at this point.
Beautiful.
Performance check?
Yeah, performance check.
So that's a 19 plus a 5 for 24.
As a 15 plus 7 for 22.
Yay!
Those duets must have crushed.
What do we call ourselves? Song and sorrow? We can take turns being song and take turns being sorrow. It's just how we feel on the night of.
Yeah, well, is it going to be like that thing that John C. Reilly and Philip Seymour Hoffman did? That's a deep cut insider. When they were doing, I forget what play they were doing. They'd switch roles every night.
Oh my god.
Love it. Anyways, we did good.
We did good. How do we do for tips? Do we get any money making playing bars?
Yes. I was just gonna say. So you guys together would have made 126 gold pieces split between the two of you.
Nice.
And that's from the entire 2-week time. And
63 gold, boys. 63 gold.
Very nice.
As you guys are all winding down at this last night, and the 3 of you are coming back into the bar that you've been staying at for the past little while, you see Prolix clumsily following behind you and immediately asks if he can talk in private. And this is not something that they normally do. and they come up to Ortega, Ari, and Talus. And I think at this point, you guys probably would have been out and about, so you guys are probably all there. Guys, so I want to know if we can talk in private. And he looks around, and you see that he's not wearing his traditional Allegiance clothes either. He's like in street clothes, like a dark cloak. Looks very disheveled.
I suppose we can speak in private. You look like hell.
I think someone's trying to frame me for the Life Dome attacks. Earlier today, someone stole my satchel. I was walking down the street. I reported the theft, and then I went about my business. And then a little while ago, someone sent me a sending spell, notified me that it's found its way to the Crystal Chateau, and I should claim it at once. And I was on my way to get it, and then I found this. And rummaging through his pocket, pulls out a silver ring with a stripe of red metal. I think someone slipped into my pocket. I swear it's not mine. It's not mine. But it looks like it's a magic item salvaged from Kael Moro. I can't be sure, but you'd believe me, right? Like I wouldn't attack.
Insight check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hardest of insight checks. Shoot. Hey, listen, now if you wanted to do an insight check, remember you've got Bardic Inspiration you haven't used yet.
Yeah, you're right. I probably should use it.
That's not great. 14.
What size of dice is the Bardic Inspiration? D8?
That is I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it's a D6 right now.
It's a D6 right now. Sorry. Yeah, it's a D6 right now.
Okay. I believe that's an 18. Yeah.
From what you have been able to tell about Prolix, this is definitely not something that he would be lying about. He's always been pretty stupidly honest with you guys. He hasn't, but it's been more so out of ignorance as opposed to a straight up lie.
He knows better now.
He knows better. And being a member of the Allegiance, and you guys being members of the Allegiance now, he trusts you, and he's hoping that you trust him, and you can see that in his face.
Well, I believe him. Do you know who might want to do something like this to you?
I don't know. But with who I am, with my comings and goings, it would make sense to frame me. I'm not like a big deal or anything, and I don't know who would do it. But I know someone could help. My friend, the bookkeeper, manages the Omnivore Library in the Sigil District. They've got records of every item that Kael Moro has ever salvaged. If this ring matches any of that, I've never been to Kael Moro, and I would never certainly ever steal a ring or anything. I would never steal anything.
Do we have any way to figure it out what this is?
Wait a second, do I have Identify?
Yes, let's see that ring there, Prolix.
Yeah, let's please do.
I'll just put out my hands.
Yeah.
I will intercept it before it touches her hands, if possible. Actually, you know what? You know what? No. I think if possible, if it's possible to, while she's still holding out her hand. I don't. Does anyone else have Identify? Like Lee, do you have anything that you can do with something like this?
I don't think I'm there.
No, you are.
No, we are.
We're all there.
We're all there.
I think you're here.
Aw, heck. Let me check.
I have Identify.
I don't have Identify. I can find things.
Oh, that's true.
Speaking of, let's put a note on. We still want to case places for the Life Dome's little special shard.
Yeah, like the shard that controls the water levels.
Because I got 1,000 feet range on that. So we could have once a day check some things out over the last couple of weeks. Anyway,
well, if we want to do that
for this
first,
specific thing, I don't have it.
Okay, well then, if it's possible, while you're like me, I will say you just a moment there, but you hold out your hand. Talus, I will not take it from you. Please hold out your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I touch the ring and I cast Identify.
Okay. You pick up that this ring. Well, what exactly does identify just give you? It just tells you what it is.
It tells you like most properties. If it's a cursed item, it doesn't tell you what it's.
I learn its properties. How do you have to touch it? Whether it requires attunement, any charges it has, if any. Mm-hmm. I will learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, I learn which spell created it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it wasn't created by any spell.
Are there any spells on it?
There are no spells on it, but you do know that there's some properties. You do know that it requires attunement. You learn that the stripe of red is actually ruidium.
Okay.
And as you touch it and as you cast a spell on it, I need you to make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
Now I'm holding it.
You're not casting a spell.
I'm not casting a spell. Gotcha.
Charisma saving throw? That's got to be good for me. That goal wasn't.
I'm there, so get a +4.
Ooh.
Oh, thank Gord, because that was an 11 plus 2 for my charisma. Why is that so low? 2 for my charisma saving throw. Oh, because I double. That's right, I double flashed. The math. 17 for my saving throw. Thank you so much.
So you become corrupted by the ruidium and you suffer 1 point of exhaustion.
No way.
Oh no.
And you remain corrupted by ruidium until something else happens. Like you're cursed with ruidium corruption.
Damn.
So that means two things. It means thing one, you absolutely cannot attune yourself to this item, or you will suffer corruption again and again and again and again. And anytime you are subjected to another source of ruidium, you just immediately gain another point of exhaustion.
Yeah, don't wear that. No one wear that. No one. I need to sit down. No one wear that.
But you learn its effects though. Like you do learn.
Yeah, no, and I share it with everybody.
So you can breathe water and you gain a swim speed equal to your walking speed.
See, that sounds fun.
And
are you sure I can't wear it?
No.
Alice. Bonus action, you can use the ring to gain the following benefits, which last for a minute or until you're incapacitated. You gain advantage on strength and checks and strength saving throws. When you hit with an attack, you can add your proficiency bonus to the damage roll, and difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement. You are immune to the paralyzed and restrained conditions.
This sounds pretty great.
I don't tell her any of that. I tell her that it is poisoned.
What do you mean poisoned?
I know. Do you know what ruidium is? Because I've barely heard much about it, but I know what it does, and now I am feeling it. You can't attune to it. You can't use it. I need to figure out how to get uncursed ASAP.
Now, that elephant that we had was made out of ruidium.
Yeah, I'm going to roll an insight on it.
Insight on Ari. I will say, while you guys are rolling insight, Ari does notice that the hand that he touched it with is like your hand is like kind of your veins very openly red.
17 insight. Give me deception, Ari.
Deception. Ooh, that's good. 15 plus 5 for a dirty 20.
Ooh.
I'm very convincing, though at this point, probably the only reason I am is because I don't know that I'm lying to Parrish.
You're lying to Talus and Parrish hears it.
Yeah, I'm standing right here. Come on.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to tell him the truth later.
So when you say poison and you say ruidium, et cetera, and if I put it on, you're telling me that that's going to be worse than me holding it in my hand.
I'm saying if you try and do magic on it, if you try to attune to it, to do something with it, you will suffer as I am currently suffering. I am cursed. Because I can also cast Identify on myself and find out exactly what's up. I just learned from Identify. If you cast Identify on a person, you can find out everything that's up with them. So I know what's up with me. And I describe it to Talus accordingly.
Yeah, that sounds painful. But attunement, I don't know if that's casting a spell.
Is exactly how it works. I now have an unfortunately deep understanding of this object. Also, how much it sucks.
It could also be that if you were to wear it and cast a spell, need not be cast on the ring.
Right.
Would you go without your magic until we're able to find a place for it?
Maybe.
Find a cure for this corruption?
That does sound important. Well, where are we going to keep it if not on a finger?
You might just need to be careful. Another source of power can make people feel jealous sometimes.
I would carry it.
I would feel more comfortable if Parrish carried it too.
And I'd feel more comfortable if it was in a bag of holding.
I have a question for you, Parrish.
I have an answer for you, Ortega.
Why do you have a need to always show strength?
It's a very good question. I am happy to show you all my softer side. Happy to show you what weakness I have. But I also want you all to feel safe.
Keeping us safe at the expense of your own self is not strength, and it doesn't keep us safe if you're not still here. Strength in numbers, not less.
Well, I take your point. And if it goes into the bag, that's fine by me. Though if someone needs to carry it, I think that I have a better chance against the corruption. My body is mostly dead, though I know yours is as well.
I have no desire for the ring. To be honest, I'm already wearing more jewelry than I'd probably like, but it keeps me safe.
Whoever carries it, don't mess with it. And for now, we need to figure out who's framing our friend, Rolex.
Well, send him upstairs to one of our rooms. We can stay there for now.
Not Lady Tatya. How about he could stay with me? You could stay with me.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thank you. I was just going to go home to my cat. But, okay.
If someone is
I
potentially...
can go take care of your kitty.
Oh, no.
Shit, I was going to volunteer.
Stop. I would never. Don't even.
I'm sorry. I forgot. Don't mess with cats.
I'm sorry, and I'm gonna pull out this little treat bag. I love treats for the cat. We haven't gone back there. I bought your cat a gift. Its favorite treats.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Fantastic.
We're friends. Cat.
I guess I will go stay with Ari then, and you can go feed my cat.
Wonderful.
Make yourself appropriately comfortable. You're
Since
a guest.
there was an attempt on all of our lives, perhaps take someone with you. Manage to avoid being alone, but not that I am not sure you couldn't take care of yourself. I just wouldn't want you to go to the trouble.
Promise to take back alleys the entire way there. No one will see me. Not even a mouse. I might find a little trouble along the way, but maybe a bite.
I'll go with her. I'm going to escort him to my room. Don't look closely at anything.
Bye. Okay. And so the four of you, I guess the three of you, head back into the bar for the time being. Ari and Tatiana go back to Prolix's house and feed the cat. You guys have a nice little conversation and you enjoy the presence of the Tressum once again. It thanks you, but it was totally self-sufficient anyways. It didn't actually need Prolix's help. You return back to the inn, ready to prepare for the events of the next day. Having some of you a job for the Sentinels of Memory or the Vermilion Dream, whichever one the decision lies. And for the rest of you to figure out just who is behind this framing. And that's where we're going to leave it tonight. With the Banded Broken having made Ank'Harel their temporary home, the weight of their past and the uncertainty of their future loom heavy. In a move few could have foreseen, they've struck a tenuous accord with an old enemy, Alicia, the woman who vanished after striking down Maggie, her sights still set on the Jewel of Three Prayers. Trust is a luxury they can't afford, yet the path ahead demands uneasy alliances. Meanwhile, troubling news has reached their ears. Prolix, their eccentric yet earnest friend, stands accused of theft. A setup? Warning, or something far worse. With the city's undercurrents shifting and danger creeping ever closer, the Banded Broken must tread carefully, lest they find themselves ensnared in a game they cannot win. I have been your host and Dungeon Master Kyle, and thanks to MAB Music for the ambiance, and to you, the listeners, for joining us. Until next time.